Welcome to another edition of the NBA show here on Earnestly podcast. I am your host, Ernest, EJ Christian, as we are now about to enter the All-Star break. I know we got 3 games left tonight. Makes no sense. I don't know why you do this, dude, because they had like 14 games last night. Thinking of, okay, so 14, then you go to the break. No, they got 3 more tonight and then the break. So, and we're joined here, as always, we do the show with our man, Greg Hrinya, of course, NBA author and analyst. Greg, what's going on, brother?
Nothing much. How you doing?
Yeah, it's break time, and we're limping to the break. A lot of big, dude. That's one of the things I've been noticing here is that a lot of injuries. Quick. There we go. Sorry, I had to fade out real quick. No, a lot of key injuries. Throughout the year. Obviously, Jokic out for a chunk of the year. So was Wemby and LeBron, you name it. But now we have even more injuries now coming into the break. Anthony Edwards out, won't be playing the game. Steph Curry, as I just heard, he's out now, and I'm sure there's another name or two that's probably pulled out of the All-Star game. This weekend.
SGA?
SGA's out?
Yeah, he's got an ab injury.
Wow. I mean, what are you gonna do, man? The All-Star game?
I'll tell you what you're gonna do. You're gonna get rid of the All-Star game. That's the easiest way to do it. Just list the teams if you want to have a weekend and do the 3-point shooting, the dunk contest. If you want to do some of those little gimmick games, that's fine. But you're just not getting guys, to buy into this.
It's a shame because, to me, the problem. Yeah, I'm with you on that. And the problem now is widespread. Forget the fact that they don't take it seriously when they play. Now are the key guys that you would watch because of it. Some of them aren't playing. Steph Curry's the guy he'd be the reason I watch the game because of the shooting, and he's not playing. And the average exciting player, not playing. SGA, one of the top 2 players in the NBA, not playing. That's not good. That is not good. And it just adds to the narrative now of, what does it mean anymore? And I've always said, I'm not asking players to play these games like they were playing, like you're playing game 55 in the NBA season. I'm not asking that. But if you watch the games back in the days when I was growing up, back in the 90s especially, I'm not trying to be the whole get up on lawn guy, obviously. But they were still loosey-goosey, but they also played. They took it semi-serious, especially in the fourth quarter at least. They weren't chucking up shots on the cheap sheets, every so often. They wouldn't play intense defense, but they'll put a body there at least. You know what I'm saying? And that's my problem, is that these players just don't care. You had a situation now that happened a couple days ago with the Lakers bench. I think they benched all their stars, all their starters against Spurs. What are we doing? We as fans pay money to see these games, and I know we're paying to see the jersey, not the players. But come on, and then you wonder why interest in the league's going down. And I say this as someone who is a fan of this. This is my favorite sport, my favorite league in the country, in the world, and I'm concerned about the future of the NBA. I'm concerned about where we're going.
Well, the 2 issues are related with the All-Star game and with teams sitting guys. There's just too many games. So the fact that, and that'll never change. But the fact that there are too many games, you're not going to get guys to sign up to play more games. It's like in the NFL where I'm sure Goodell wants them to play an 18th game and then stretch the Super Bowl to President's Day weekend. But the reality is, they play, what they do is enough. It's hard enough getting a lot of these guys healthy to play on a weekly basis as it is. So in the NBA, 82 is too many. I'll settle for 70 or 72, but a better sweet spot would probably be 65, and just make sure that no team is playing back-to-backs. The reality is that if you have schedule losses where teams are just conceding the game before it starts, and these are competitive teams, I'm not even talking about the tanking teams. Competitive teams are willing to take a loss because they don't want these guys getting hurt. How can you then justify an exhibition game having guys play hard? And part of the reason is that they just make too much money, or they make more money than what they used to. So if guys are making between $50 and $60 million now, and it's going to be upwards of $70 million once the extensions kick in, how can a guy justify going out there and playing in an exhibition game? And the organization doesn't want him playing in that game either.
And also,
he's worth too much money to the team, to the league, etc. So.
And also the fact that the money is guaranteed. So if these countries weren't as guaranteed the same way, maybe I hate to say this because I'm not someone who wants to take money out of their pockets. I don't want to do that. But you are not where you are without us. If I stop watching, and every other person who's watching NBA stops watching, that BRI goes down which means less money for you.
Yeah, but the thing is that and this ties into the tanking argument. The reason why a lot of that stuff's not going to change is because I put on the Utah game yesterday, and like they're one of the biggest defenders. The bottom bowl is still full. I mean, people are still going to the games, and to be honest, I think a lot of the fans want it because they know what getting one of these top 3 picks means. So they're willing to sacrifice a year or 2 years. So it's like until there's a fan outcry and people stop showing up to the games. The TV rights deals are still up. People are still going to the games. You're not really going to get anything to change. I mean, it's like they say in football. If you want something to change, don't go to the games. The Browns fans are still going to the games. So I mean, like
that's what I tell folks all the time. If you want to push back, like I get on wrestling fans all the time who get mad at WWE now is like taking all their content and fracturing off different networks and stuff.
Yeah.
If you want to push back on that, ticket sales of WrestleMania is through the roof. Everything else. You want to push back on that, you stop supporting the company. You use your money as protest.
Yeah, and that's when something would change. But like most of the fans that are upset about tanking are not upset because they have an issue with tanking. They're upset because it affects their team. It affects their team's ability to get one of those top picks.
Right.
So I mean, like that's the issue. Like as we've said before, one guy makes such a big difference. And again, that ties into the All-Star game. Like if one guy gets hurt, if one guy pops his Achilles in a meaningless game, you now lose him for a year. So like they're going to do everything they can to try and keep these guys healthy for as long as they can, while still acknowledging that they're not cutting games. Like the NFL's adding games. I mean, like all these leagues realize that. Well, not baseball, because it's not as physical, but like they run the risk the longer you play, the more physical, the better shape these guys are in, the more injuries you're going to have. But it's like once the money gets involved, like it just is what it is. I don't see a lot changing on any of these fronts. All-Star game, tanking, you name it.
Right. No, I get that. The thing is, like, maybe because I was a lot more ignorant because I was younger, but like you didn't see these issues in when we were younger. You didn't see these.
Yeah, but like Scottie Pippen made, like his big deal was what, $4 million.
Yeah.
Like Jaylen Brown makes $50 million a year. So I mean, like like I get that there's inflation and the value of the dollar is different, but still, like if an organization loses a guy that's making $4 million, it's unfortunate. But if an organization loses a guy like Damian Lillard, is making $53 million, tears his Achilles, and now you lose him for a year, maybe more. So I mean, it's the economics of it are different, I would say, than what it used to be. Like they didn't have these TV rights deals that are like in the billions of dollars, and that goes across all the leagues.
Needless to say, you're not looking for the All-Star game, are you?
No. I mean, like unfortunately, I'll probably put it on, just to see what happens, but I'm not really looking forward. I don't
think I'll do that.
But it would be like in the background thing if I'm not watching anything else. Like I could be watching something else. Maybe it's on the iPad or something like that. It's not something that I'm glued to watching or enjoying.
Right. I'm the same way. And you and I are both NBA connoisseurs, but it's a problem when even you and I who are diehards are. No, we'll take a week off on this one.
Yeah,
like, I literally use the All-Star break for me when it comes to recording podcasts as vacation time. Because I'm not interested in it. I'm just not interested in it. So,
and I don't think most people are interested in it. You're interested in who makes the team, but beyond that, that's it's irrelevant what actually happens in the game.
So you're of the opinion that the fix for this is to just let it go.
Yeah, but I mean it's the same fix for the NFL with the Pro Bowl.
Well, they have technically done. They have somewhat done that. Semi.
Yeah.
Although the NFL ones will justify because their sport's more physical. So I understand like the risks even worse. But I've never been to the Pro Bowl even when no one complained about it. Even back years ago.
Yeah. Same.
Didn't care about the Pro Bowl because I understood what it was. It was a celebration at the end of the year. Maybe they put the All-Star game at the end of the year. What about that? What if they did the All-Star game at the end of the season as opposed to the middle of the year?
You're still running the risk of a guy getting hurt. And if a guy tears his ACL in a meaningless game, owners, fans, etc., are going to raise hell over it. So, I don't see a good time for it. The only game that's viable to me is baseball because again, a pitcher could get hurt, of course. But I just don't see that being as demanding.
The risk reward, right?
Yeah.
I think, if you get rid of it, Just do the weekend celebration, whatever. Have celebrities do it, and then just the fact of being an all-star is actually a accomplishment itself.
Yeah, so name the 24 All-Stars and don't play the game. I mean, like if you want to see entertaining basketball, have like do the rookie sophomore game and then
That's better.
Throw a G League team in there. Guys who are trying to make a name for themselves are going to play hard.
Yeah,
you're not going to have the established superstars playing hard because I don't think anybody wants that. No fan wants to lose Jason Tatum for a year. You'll live with it if he gets hurt in a playoff game. You're not going to live with it if he gets hurt in an exhibition.
Right. Absolutely. Did you listen to the Bill Simmons podcast with Nick Wright yesterday?
I did.
So they were talking about this topic, and Nick Wright had a suggestion on how to fix the All-Star game. It is actually hilarious. Check out this clip from the show yesterday.
The game on Sunday, is it fixable? Because I don't think it is.
It's fixable in 4 years if your guy Con Knippel continues on this trajectory. And we just have to say, you know what? PC headlines be damned.
Uh-oh.
I know where you're going.
White guys versus black guys. Luka, Joker, Flag, Reeves, Knippel against Wimby, whomever. And I'm telling you right now, guys would play fucking hard.
He's not wrong.
Like that, there would be a real edge to the game.
Certainly would get a lot of talking points going.
Get a lot of attention, and we are getting close to a place where it'd be like, oh, that'd be a good game. Like there hasn't been a moment in the NBA in the last 50 years where if that ended up just by chance being the game, it would be you could see either team winning. But right now, like Cooper Flag and Con Knippel and Austin Reeves doing a lot of work
there. Yeah.
Right. But they also get all the Eastern Europeans.
Yep.
Like you get Luka, you get Joker, you have real talent. That's something. In the meantime, I don't know what the hell you do.
Yeah. He's kind of right though. They will play hard, number one. And I'll be honest with you. In today's landscape, the white team might actually have a chance of winning.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why he's, I guess, not wrong is because I just saw a tweet about this before that someone asked Kevin Durant about like playing hard in the All-Star game. And he said, ask the European guys. They're the ones lying around. I'm paraphrasing, but like you could find the quote, but
yeah,
the ones lying around on the ground, like rolling around and, shooting from the ground, so it's like, him making that comment is basically you could see that if they were then pitted against each other, that there would be animosity and that might get them to actually play.
The NBA race war, great. this is what we need right now in this very, very rough climate right now in general. This another. You know what? NBA is going to go broke. White versus blacks. Let's go. Let's go.
From the concept of any publicity is good publicity, then I'm sure it would generate a lot of.
It would certainly get a lot of eyeballs.
Yeah.
Without question, bro. Okay, so you're okay. Just real quick. Let's take Nick Wright's idea. Throw out your 5 best white guys in the NBA, your 5 best black guys in the NBA currently right now as we sit in 2026. So it would be what? Jokic? The white guys would be Jokic, Luka.
Yeah, I mean, if you're counting the Eastern Europeans, I mean it's a pretty good team because
Jokic, Luka. Who's on top? I'm missing some guys here, but I know that. Will Cooper Flag qualify for top 5 white guy in the league right now?
Yeah, he'd probably be a wing. I mean, and then you have guys like Porzingis if he was ever healthy.
Knippel, of course.
Yeah,
Reeves.
Yeah, I feel like they probably did a good job listing them. I mean, we're probably missing a couple that when we're done, it's like, oh, how could we miss that guy? But
of course, right. The black guys would be what? It'd be KD, LeBron, Curry, Wemby, SGA.
Yeah,
I'm saying the 5 best.
Yeah, Giannis.
Players. Oh my God! Never mind. The blacks will still win the game. I guess I don't know. Whites have a good chance to win that game. That's how
I mean, look, if you have one team that has Joker and another team that's got Giannis and Luka, I mean that's going to be a competitive game.
Very competitive there. Speaking of the All-Star game, we won't get into like predictions. Let's not reveal the rest of the roster. So this is broken down into 3 teams, right? There's USA Stars, USA Stripes, and the World, right?
Yeah, it's a very convoluted system, and as Bill Simmons said, if you need more than one sentence to explain it, how the game is going to be run.
It's not good.
you've lost me at that point. So
the USA Stars team is Scotty Barnes, Kay Cunningham, Anthony Edwards, Jalen Johnson, Devin Booker, Jalen Duran, Chet Holmgren, and Tyrese Maxey, which is coached by JB Bickerstaff. The USA Stripes team is Jalen Brown, Jalen Brunson, the Jalen brothers, of course. Steph Curry will not be playing. Kevin Durant, Brandon Ingram, who's replacing Steph Curry. LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, Donovan Mitchell, and Norman Powell made the team. Mitch Johnson is coaching this team, the Spurs coach, of course. And then the World team, which I think will win because you can make an argument that all the 5 best players in the NBA right now currently are all internationally born. Giannis, of course, Denny Avdija. How do you spell it? It's Avdija? Avdija. Thank you. It was really good, by the way. Luka Doncic, SGA, not playing though. Jokic, Jamal Murray, Alperen Sengun, who is replacing SGA, Pascal Siakam, Karl-Anthony Towns, and Victor Wembanyama, coached by Darko Rajakovic. Right now, the World, even without Shai, I think the World team is better than the rest of the teams here.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's trended that way for the last couple of years. I feel like. Yeah,
we can agree to that. Let me see here for All-Star Saturday. I'll just ask you quickly for a prediction. Who I think wins this contest here? 3-point contests, for example. I'm trying to find the list of players here. It's Devin Booker, Concanipple, Damian Lillard, Tyrese Maxey, Donovan Mitchell, Jamal Murray, Bobby Portis Jr. Bobby Portis Jr. is in the 3-point contest?
Yeah, he shot 40% from 3 this year. I would say it's probably going to be Damian Lillard because, I mean, he's a guy who's been out for the year and will be out for the year. And he's only basically showing up to do this 3-point contest. So I feel like all his prep has just gone into this.
Yeah. And Norman Powell will be the other guy, of course. You already know I'm rooting for Powell, of course.
Yeah.
I'm picking Booker, though.
Yeah, I'll pick
you pick who?
Dame.
Lillard? Okay. Your shooting stars here is made up of 4 teams. Team All-Star, Scotty Barnes, Chet Holmgren, Richard Hamilton. You have Team Cameron, of course, is Jalen Johnson, Concanipple, Corey Baghetti. Team Harper, Dylan Harper, Ron Harper Jr., and Ron Harper. Wow, okay. Is Dylan Harper related to the other Harpers? Or no?
Yeah, they're all, it's father and 2 sons, yeah.
Oh, wow, okay, shit, that's awesome. And then, of course, Team Knicks, Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns, and Allen Houston, sorry. I mean, whatever. This is the Shooting Stars contest, whatever it is. And then the Stemma contest, which no one cares about. You got Carter Bryant from the Spurs, Jackson Hayes of the Lakers, Keyshawn Johnson of the Heat, and then Jace Richardson of the Magic. You have a winner prediction for that one by chance or no?
Either Jace Richardson or Carter Bryant would be my guess. I feel like it's hard getting like a bigger guy like Jackson Hayes. I feel like is playing from behind the 8 ball just because like it's not as impressive seeing a 7-footer dunk. Like if Jace Richardson at 6 feet tall can throw down like any kind of decent dunk, I'll take him because of his father's pedigree. I think that there'll be some sentimentality with the voting.
Right.
At his size, at 6 feet tall, if he can do any kind of dunk that maybe even emulates his dad, they'll probably hand it to him.
Right.
So.
If there's anything I would watch this weekend, definitely intently, will be the Rising Stars games. You got 4. Go ahead.
They'll play. Like those guys will play. I mean, not as hard as a regular season game, but they will play harder than what you'll see in the All-Star game.
Unfortunately, Cooper Flag won't be able to play. Team Mello, Cooper Flag, who's out. Reed Shepard, Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, who's mentioned a little while ago, Jeremiah Fayers, Donovan Clingan, Colin Murray Boyles, and Ace Bailey, coached by Carmelo Anthony. You got Team T-Mac, of course, that's Tracy McGrady, Concanipple, Khalil Ware, Trey Johnson, Alex Sarr, AJ Mitchell, Jalen Tyson, Zachary Reciter, Cam Spencer, and Bub Carrington. Of course, McGrady is the coach of that team. Team Vince Carter consists of VJ Edgecombe, Derek Queen, Keyshawn George, Mattis Buzelis, Igor Demon, Cedric Howard, and Jalen Wells. And then Team Austin Rivers of Sean. This is, of course, the G League guys here. Sean East II, Ron Harper Jr., Yannick Conan Niedenhauser, Elijah Martin, Tristan Newton, Yang Hansen, Mac McClung, who's surprised not in the dunk contest. I don't know why. And David Jones Garcia. If I had to pick a winner, I'm picking probably. I'm leaning towards Team
I think the first team was probably.
Well, for the sake of being different, I'm gonna pick Team Mac. Because of Concanebo and Claire were. So.
Alex Sarr won't be in that game either.
Oh shit! There you go.
He got out for at least 2 weeks with a hamstring injury. But then again, it's the Wizards, so it's hard to know whether he's really hurt or if it's just a tanking measure at that point.
Right. True. So there's your All-Star weekend rosters and stuff. Like I said, I'll watch Ryan Stars for the most part and 3-1 contest. I love 3-1 contest, but other than that, good luck getting me. Good luck getting me to be interested in anything else. Let's look at something else here. Well, you know what? Let me see this real quick. Let me pause real quick. One pause real quick. All right, we're back. All right, you want to go East or West first? Look at some of these standings here.
East first.
So Eastern Conference first.
Yeah.
As we now enter the break, again, there's 3 more games left this tonight, but for the most part, this is pretty much going to be the standard for next week or so. There is your Eastern Conference right now currently. With number 1, the Pistons at 40-13, number 1 seed. Number 2 is currently the Boston Celtics. Impressive. 3, the Knicks. 4, the Cavaliers. 5, the Raptors. 6, the Sixers. You're playing teams right now currently are the Magic at 7, Heat at 8, Hornets now at 9, and the Hawks at 10. And of course, your team's looking in right now. Of course, the Bulls, Bucks, who are slowly fading, the Nets, the Pacers, and the Wizards. Let me say this real quick, Greg. Your 6 teams in the playoffs, that will be your 6. That's not changing. There may be some seeding differences between 6 teams, but no one. I think your 6 teams there is your 6. The play-in teams, for the most part, I think it's going to stick unless Giannis gets back in time to clean up some of this mess. But at this point, why bother? But I think the Eastern Conference is pretty much defined at this point.
I could see some movement.
Okay, so where?
Like Philly, for example. I mean, they're what, a game and a half ahead of Orlando. Not saying Orlando's good, but like Embiid has missed the last couple of games with more knee issues. If he's out for any length of time, and you've already got Paul George suspended for 25 games, and he's still got 20 games left on that suspension. Like, they were down almost 50 to the Knicks last night, who are on a back-to-back. Like, that's not a good team if you're missing both those guys. If you're missing one of them, you can live with that. But I mean, and even still, Toronto is only a game ahead of them, or a game and a half ahead of them. So, I mean, in theory, you look at a team like Orlando or Miami, like they could wind up as a 5 seed. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily bet on that, but injuries, I think, could play a role with Philly possibly sliding down. If Embiid doesn't come back after this, week and a half, 2 weeks off. And also I could see Cleveland moving up to maybe even the 2 spot, because, they'll get Evan Mobley back after the break. I think their schedule is pretty soft. Ultimately, I don't know that Boston is I don't know that they're like a true 2 seed. I think that they could probably slide down to 3 or 4. So, I mean, you could wind up seeing Detroit. And again, to your point, that still winds up being, it could still be the 6 teams, like you said, but the order of them could move around a little bit.
Yeah, to your point, I'll agree with you. If there's a team that I think could move out of play-in into the playoffs, the top 6, so I'd say, is Orlando. Here's the problem with Orlando. I don't trust them anymore. I'm done.
No, they're not
so disappointing this year for me.
No, they're not. I mean, last night they lost to Milwaukee, no Giannis, and they were fully healthy. Like, they had Bane playing, they had Banchero playing, they had Franz Wagner playing, they had Suggs playing. At home, you can't lose that game. So I mean, especially given that there's room for them to move. If they win that game, they're 29-24, and they're basically in a dead even tie with the Sixers with all those problems. That's a game you got to win, but. I think Orlando will probably wind up having a shakeup in the offseason. At the very least, their coach will probably be gone, because he's been there a long time. He's been there a long time, and from the people that you listen to, I don't watch them religiously, but they don't seem to run much of an offense, and it seems kind of scattered on that end. And their defense, I would say, while good to okay, is not as good as you would have expected given the players that they have on their roster. So they've been a big disappointment. And look, if the Heat get healthy, why couldn't they be the 6th seed? They don't they don't have to be bad. If Hero comes back and Powell's playing and Wiggins comes back, there's no reason why they should be as bad as they've been, to where like they're losing to teams that are intentionally trying to lose. So
I'm with you on that one. Like I said, I expected the 6 to stay though, just because the fact that I just want the teams in the middle. I just don't trust, even including my team, the Heat. Just don't trust them. It's that simple. So, but yeah, I mean, the East is, in my opinion, looks defined. As we said weeks ago, Cleveland's is getting hot, and they're gonna get hot, and they are hot now. Would it surprise me to be at 2? No. Yeah, James Harden, that should help with that also, to be honest with you. Because the one thing about James Harden, I'll take over Darius Garland in the short term, is that he's available.
Yeah.
So he's available. That's one thing I will always give him credit for. So that's for Eastern Conference right now, currently into the All-Star break. Now let's go to the West now, which is a lot more fun to look at. Right now, of course, obviously the Thunder, who we thought a couple months ago may break the record for the Warriors win total. That's come and gone a long time ago. But they're still number 1 in the West. 2 is the Spurs. You got 3 the Nuggets, who he's got Jokic back a couple weeks ago. You got number 4 the Rockets, who are playing decent basketball. 5 the Timberwolves. You got number 6 the Lakers. Then number 7 the Suns. 8 the Warriors. 9 the Clippers. 10 the Blazers. Then on the outside looking in, of course, Grizzlies, Mavericks, Jazz, Pelicans, and Kings. I think, much like the East, the 6 teams right now currently in the right now there so far, it might stick. I think there's something to be said about Phoenix in LA. LA has some injuries. Luka's gonna be out tonight, I think, and he's probably after the All-Star break, obviously. Outside of that, I think like the East also is pretty defined. I think it's the seedings here at this point looking at.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think the top 5 seeds, that's probably how they're going to be ordered when the season ends.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, could the Lakers swap with Phoenix? Maybe. But, I guess you could have Minnesota and the Lakers swap. But, I mean, I think that ultimately it'll wind up being those 5 seeds. And then you're looking at the Lakers and Phoenix grappling for that 6th pick. I mean, on paper, the Lakers are a better team. But, I mean, Phoenix plays harder, plays better defense, et cetera. And then beyond that, the play-in is those bottom 3 teams, I think, are virtual locks, because Minnesota, Utah, and Sacramento aren't even trying to win, and New Orleans is bad. They're too far out of it, and Dallas, who knows how they approach the next couple months, but probably the same way as Memphis and Utah. I mean, these teams are going to be jockeying for seeding. I don't even think some of those teams want to be in the play-in. So I think those are your 10 teams.
Well, not only that, the gap between 10 and 11 is pretty big now. It's like 6 games.
Yeah.
So like the 10 teams, like I think we could say that we know who the playoff and playing teams are in the Western Conference.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the only thing that could really move in those 10 are the Lakers and the Suns. Other than that, it's pretty much set. So I think the East is a little more fluid. I mean, you could make the argument in the East that you could get Milwaukee as the 10 seed instead of Atlanta, let's say. But, that besides that, it's pretty set, especially in the West. So,
yeah. So, I mean, any chance the Spurs catch the Thunder?
No, I don't think so.
Odds are no, but, anything is possible.
And look, San Antonio does have a tiebreaker. I mean, they beat up on them pretty good this year. So, but I mean, there's still 3.5 games left, and I think when Shea comes back, I mean, I think most of the rest of the Thunder have been healthy. I mean, Jalen Williams played last night. Chet played last night. I'm sure AJ Mitchell hopefully will come back after the break, and if Shea comes back after the break. I mean, look, if you were to tell me that Shea's going to miss another month, then I could say, yeah, there's a chance that the Spurs catch him. But I'm operating under the assumption that he'll be back after the break.
I feel confident at this point that the seeding also too is going to hold for the top 5. Not just the teams in there, but the teams that I think it will stick in that order. Yeah. I think it's likely that the 5 teams in order right now will be the 5 teams in the same order. Like end of the year with Thunder, Spurs, Nuggets, Rockets, T-Wolves in that order. I mean, it's a case for T-Wolves to leapfrog the Rockets. I don't trust it though, so I'm still say the Rockets because they're a better team. Yeah. I will say the Minnesota's dangerous though. Minnesota's kind of on the radar, like because obviously the top 4 teams in the West are SGA, Wemby, Jokic, and then KD, and then what they're doing there. But Minnesota's hanging around, man, and they've been to the conference finals this couple of years. So
was going to say the dark horse because everyone forgets about them, but they wind up in the Western Conference Finals every year, and like they had a pretty decent deadline. They added DeSumo, who's a solid player. They'll bring Conley back, so yeah. I mean, people aren't going to talk about them, but I mean, ultimately, like I would like their chances of going further than the Rockets' chances.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, what else we got here on the docket? Jason Tatum this week practiced with the G League affiliate in Maine on Monday. Now, when asked about whether or not this is the start of the possibility of him come back this year, he said he's not committal right now, which means I think there's still a possibility he's gonna come back this year. I don't think him saying not committal is not gonna chase away the rumors. We said in the podcast last week we did the trade deadline reaction that, and I told you, like, when they traded Simons for Vucevic, my thought was that, you get rid of Simons because maybe Tatum's on the way back and they're trying to compete now, and then you have this news comes down. I'm like, well, maybe he is coming back. And look, right now they're the 2 seed in the Eastern Conference, man. So
there's no reason to have him practice with the G League team or have him practice with anybody if you're not intending on bringing him back. If you're not bringing him back, just let him sit on the sidelines for the rest of the year and don't have him practice anywhere. So I think that's a pretty big tell that he's going to come back at some point. The question is, when's he going to come back? How much is he going to play? What kind of role are they going to put him in? My guess is they're going to have him come off the bench to start and say, we're just going to play him, 15 minutes, just to take it easy on him. But then, that's going to grow at some point. If they want any chance in the playoffs, I mean, he'll have to play a much bigger role.
Was it you that said that? I'm not sure it was you or somebody else that said that because he got the surgery right after he got hurt, like literally within hours after the actual injury in New York, is what sped up the process of him being able to come back this soon. Was it you that said that or somebody else?
I mean, I did say that, but I'm sure a lot of people have said that because that was like a common thing that was said right after the surgery. That they were.
I didn't hear that. I heard from somebody else, like you or somebody else.
Yeah, no, I mean, I did say that, but I mean, I had heard that other places. So, I mean, it's, other people have said it too, that because of...
Well, you're getting credit for it, so whatever.
The nature of how quickly he had the surgery improved the prognosis. But, I mean, the surgery itself has changed from where it was 30 years ago. Like when Dominique Wilkins got, tore his ACL, the prognosis is better now for a guy doing it than it was then.
Well, they say they look good. Joe Mazzulla say look good in practice. I think he's coming back. I think you're going to see a early to mid March return.
Yeah, it's pretty much got to be because I wouldn't bring him back in April right before the playoffs without having any warm up. I mean, you basically would have to treat the rest of March and early April as like his training camp. So,
right. All right. Also, the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame finalists for 2026 have been released. Heard some of the breakdown here. The players, you got Blake Griffin, Candace Parker, Elena Dell, Don, Amari Stoudemire, Kevin Johnson, Marquise Johnson, and Chamique Holtzclaw. The coaches right now up are Doc Rivers, Mike D'Antoni, Mark Few, and Kelvin Sampson. Teams and contributors, of course, the 1996 U.S. Olympic women's team, and Joey Crawford was referee. We will know the inductees officially on April 4th in a ceremony at the Final Four. Are there any? I believe the first ballot ones here, first time eligible ones are Blake Griffin and Candace Parker, along with Doc Rivers and Amari Stoudemire, and the women's team Olympic 1996 team. Let me ask you this: any of those first eligible guys, you think they get in?
I mean, I would say Candace Parker's a lock to get in.
Yeah, I definitely think that too. Also,
but I mean, among everybody else on the list, I don't know that I can say there's a lock besides her.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Doc Rivers. I mean, like, I don't know that it matters that he's still coaching, but I mean, if you just look at his numbers, I mean, he's like top 5 all time in wins, I think. So,
yeah.
So he's going to get in eventually, just based on the numbers.
I think Blake still gets in though.
Yeah, he probably gets in.
And I think Amari Stoudemire a case also too for first ballot.
Yeah, I mean, both guys, had they not had injuries, would have been slam dunk first ballot guys, but I mean, obviously they both battled pretty significant injuries throughout their career.
What I hope though is Kevin Johnson gets in finally. Like I don't know how big a NBA fan you are of like the 90s and stuff, But I was a huge Kevin Johnson fan, especially in Phoenix. He
Yeah.
played with Charles Barkley and those Suns teams in the 90s. A really, really good player. Hopefully he gets in. So that's what I'm looking forward to watching this coming couple weeks as again, they're going to announce this on April 4th. So at the Final Four. All right, finally, we get you out of here. This is the topic I actually want to bring up to you. But this year is actually the 50th anniversary of Dirk Nowitzki's legendary 2011 run. There's a lot of commentary about this too, also about what is the greatest singular championship run in the history of the league. And I'm hard pressed to find anything better than Dirk's 2011 run. You know, we talk about rings with players and how rings, especially in the NBA, because the NFL is different. But the NBA, some rings are weighted heavier than others based on who they beat and based on the journey and this and that and what team they played on. You know, we look at Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant has 2 championships. But no one really acknowledges that, honestly, because he played on that team, okay? Whereas a guy like Dirk, a guy like Hakeem Olajuwon, those other guys have, like, rings that I'm sorry, publicly are more respected because of what they had to go through. So I was thinking about this, too, and it's been a conversation over the internet the last couple months now about whether or not was Dirk Nowitzki's 2011 run the greatest singular run in NBA history. So I thought about that, and there's some really good ones out there I thought about. Olajuwon's 1995 run was pretty decent. Now, it's funny I say that because he was a defending champion that year, but the Rockets were a 6th seed, but they beat, MVP David Robinson. They beat the really good Phoenix Suns team, and they beat the Orlando Magic was red hot that year with Shaq and Penny. I think other teams, and whatnot runs. But I have a hard time finding one that is better than Dirk's run in 2011. You beat a Portland team at the time we thought were the future of the league with Brandon Roy and LaMarcus Aldridge, those guys. And then you beat the champion Lakers. Not only beat them, you swept the defending 2-time champion Lakers, back-to-back champions at the time, who was having their own issues. Then you beat the upstart OKC Thunder in the conference finals. But Kevin Durant, James Harden, they were about to, they were the team of the future also too. Russell Westbrook, Serge Ibaka. And then bad memories for me, of course, beat the Heat with LeBron, Wade, and Bosh the first year of the Big Three Heat. Dirk only has 1 ring, but that run feels like he has 3. Honestly, yeah. That's a heavy run. Your thoughts? Do you think this is the greatest run of all time?
I mean, it's definitely of the last 25 years. Like going back to 2000, I would say, like when I looked at it, I'm like, I guess you can make an argument for Giannis. But Middleton had his moments in that series. He scored 40 points in one of the games. Jrue Holiday obviously had his moments. If you go to like LeBron's title in Cleveland, the improbable one. I mean, you still needed Kyrie and Kevin Love to play major roles. So I mean, if you go on through the list, you're looking at Kobe and Shaq, and then the depth on those Spurs teams. I mean, if you're looking at just singular player, even going back to the 80s, I mean, like, those Celtics and Lakers teams had multiple good players on them that were contributing to it. So,
but that's just it, though.
Yeah,
Dirk didn't have an all-star.
Yeah, Dirk didn't have that. So I think as you start going down the line, you'd be hard pressed to find. I mean, again, even MJ had Scottie Pippen and other guys contributing and playing roles.
Right.
Didn't have like the traditional superstar wingman. It's not like Dirk was playing with Isaiah Thomas or something like that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So he didn't have that help. And then you look at the teams that he beat, like, you make a pretty good argument that one can certainly stand alone.
Because even Elijah won in 95, and I use the fact that he's a defending champion, but you're a 6th seed. Granted, he was on a tail of his career, but he had Clyde Drexler. He acquired Clyde Drexler in that trade back in February of that year. But Clyde at that point was on the back of his career. Mm-hmm. He wasn't the same guy. He was already on the tail end of his career. And so he had an all-star still, but an all-star who was fading. The only comp that you can use with Dirk was Jason Kidd. But again, Jason Kidd also, like Clyde Drexler, was on the back of his career. Jason Kidd was not an all-star at that point. Jason Kidd was a role player who was a veteran leader. Okay, but they had a lot of good intelligent players. Deshaun Stevenson and JJ Barea and Jason Terry. Jason Terry was second best player on the team. Jason Terry.
Yeah, but I mean, Deshaun Stevenson played a huge role in that finals, and I don't think anyone is going to look back in NBA history and be like, "Oh, Deshaun Stevenson was that guy." So I mean, the fact that he was one of the co-stars for Dirk just shows how much heavy lifting Dirk.
But again, I think what stands out, the reason why this one gets the most play is because of who they beat.
Yeah,
and look and the teams they beat. Look at who they were. You didn't just beat the Lakers. You beat the 2-time defending NBA champions, who at that point went to 3 straight finals. Okay, and you swept them. Kobe was still really good. Kobe was still top 3 player in the league at that time when it happened. It wasn't you were getting old Kobe, banged up Kobe. The defending champions, and you swept them. Okay, then you beat the upstart Thunder team that many believe were going to go to the finals that year. Because KD already arrived. Russell Westbrook was really good at that point now. James Harden was 6th man of the year. And you beat them in 5 games. Then you go and beat Miami in 6 with LeBron, Wade, and Bosh. You know? Again, with your second best player being Jason fucking Terry. Like, what are we doing here? To me, I don't even think it's close. Like, you have to really go into, like, the archives, like, beyond the 80s. Because I don't remember around the 80s that stood out that's still like this, where a guy had good players, but nothing that stood out in the same way, you know, that Dirk had. Like Dirk, like I said, Elijah was the only comeback I have really in '95. Giannis is a great comeback too, because Giannis, because I don't think we ever look at Chris Middleton as an all-star level player. I mean, he made all-star teams, but he was never on level because the injuries from one. So the Giannis one is actually a really good one too. But I think what separates Dirk from Giannis in this comparison is the fact that the level of teams that Dirk beat to get there and how he beat them was actually much more impressive than Giannis's.
Yeah, that, and also I would say Giannis's supporting cast was better than, at least on paper, was better.
I agree with that too. Also, I agree.
What Dirk's, because I mean, Middleton at that point, if you're talking 5 years ago, that makes all those guys are around like late 20s, early 30s. Like, like Kidd was at the tail end of his career at that point. Like he was like 2 years away from retiring, or 3 years away from retiring. So Middleton was still very much in his prime. Drew Holiday was very much in his prime. Lopez was in his early 30s, but certainly a lot more viable than he is now. So I mean, PJ Tucker, still a viable player. Like I think that they had pretty good depth on that roster.
Another guy I would consider also too. I'll still take Dirk number 1 this one, but Kawhi in Toronto.
True.
Now, what hurts Kawhi in this argument though is that the Warriors team you beat in the finals was not a full functional Warriors team. It was KD played 20 minutes of the series. He came back in game 4. I think it was game 5. He got hurt again.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And
Clay got hurt in game 6. Right. So they weren't fully functional Warriors team you beat. And then, but he did beat Philadelphia, who many believe that year was going to go to the finals that year, which means Butler and Embiid and those guys. Then he beat Milwaukee with Giannis, who on the up and up. So Kawhi would be actually another guy, because Siakam wasn't Siakam yet. He was on the way up. They were still, Kyle Lowry was a lot older at that point. So they were still, Kawhi would be a good comp. If he had beaten them with KD healthy, or hell, even Clay healthy the entire series, I would say maybe it's not a little bit on level, but it's still Dirk for me, man. It's still Dirk.
Yeah, and I mean, the argument can be made, and probably a good argument, that Toronto doesn't win that series if those guys are healthy.
Oh, I don't think they do. No.
Golden State probably wins it in 5. So, I mean,
yeah,
that would affect the argument too.
Yeah, so but those are good comps though. Like you mentioned Giannis, and that was a regular comp actually too. Who did they beat again? I know they beat Phoenix in the finals, but they beat also Atlanta. They beat
Atlanta, the Nets, and I want to say Miami.
Nets. Yeah, they killed Miami. They swept Miami that year.
I think they swept Miami. Then they beat the Nets in 7. Then they beat Atlanta, and then they beat Phoenix in 6. I want to say.
Many believe that Nets series was the finals itself.
Yeah. Although I mean, if you look back on it, I mean, Harden's hamstring was shot.
Yeah.
And Kyrie's ankle wasn't going to allow him to come back a couple weeks later. So I mean,
so Dirk wins because Dirk beat all those teams healthy. Kobe was healthy in that series. So was KD and so was LeBron. They're all healthy.
Yeah.
Still, the Dirk wins in a landslide. Honestly, I think it's even close. To be honest, now that you remind me of the context now, it's not even close. It's Dirk with a bullet. So anyway, I think we touched on everything, right? Or anything else we want to touch on before we got here?
No, I believe we did. I mean, we'll have a week off, so
yeah,
good time to
take
watch.
A week off from the show. I'm taking a week off from the podcast in general. I'm starting tomorrow and probably for the next 11 days.
Okay.
We'll be back soon, of course. You can follow Greg on Twitter at G Hrinya NBA. That's GHRINYA NBA. I am, of course, on Twitter as well too at X at eachperson7. NBA show, Earnest Week podcast, of course. We do it every week. Well, not next week, but we'll be back the week after, of course. So, again, enjoy the break. Enjoy the break, everybody. We'll talk to you guys soon. Later.